As long as you got air in your lungs and you got your freedom, even if you don't, you have navigation stories, you have wisdom, and you have things to share. Being a mentor isn't just for the people that you're supporting. Being a mentor makes you a better person. Mentorship is really important to me. I actually put mentorship up as high as I do around being able to go to a good K-12 school. A lot of folks that I work with that grew up similar to how I did are not in some of the best K-12 schools. There are things that I've been able to step into those gaps. I've talked about religious institutions. I've talked about community-based organizations. And the other bucket that I tend to talk about a lot is mentorships. Having a good mentor and having good mentees, because you should always be doing both, is really important, and it would have helped me out a ton. Frederick Douglass said something very profound. He said, it's easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. Ain't that the truth? Ask my therapist. It's very expensive. So mentorship actually plays a large role in that, in my mind, in building like the strongest people that we can have. And mentorship is not just for kids. I will have mentors until the day that I die. Let's get into the question that I probably get the most around mentorship. What if I don't feel qualified to be a mentor? Everybody has something to offer. Regardless of what you've done before in the past, there is a navigation story in there. Even if it led to some really bad things, there is something to be gleaned and something to be learned from that experience. You should share that. I don't think it should be shared with everybody, but I think that there is a special select group of folks that might benefit from hearing those stories. I'll give you a personal example from my life. One of my favorite people walking this earth is an uncle of mine, and he's been through a lot. But here's what I remember. When I was in undergrad and I was about to drop out and be done with it, my uncle would send me these care packages. Mind you, these were the care packages that you would send to people in prison. A lot of the men in my family have been to jail. But when I received that box and it had all those goodies, I still love these Welsh fruit snacks to this day because of that care package. He would also then follow up the care package with calls. Hey, Charlesy, how you doing? You holding in there? Look, man, you're doing something that nobody in our family's ever done. You are on the path to greatness. Like, this man would speak life into me, and it is the thing that kept me in school. Mentor, loving family member, you can call it whatever you want. He didn't have the navigation skills to help me necessarily get through undergrad, but what he did have is his own experience in the military and being in a war, just surviving in the place that he had survived in. He was so adamant about letting me know that I had what it takes to not just knock out this dream, but to go even further and to like make history. Without that person there, I would not have gotten done. Told me the information that I needed. He helped me navigate through tough situations, and he helped me envision what the end could look like. There's another really dope saying: God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the call. If you have been through some stuff and you've made some mistakes, there is somebody out there that can still benefit from the information and knowledge that you have. Here's the second question that I get asked a lot. What if I approach somebody to be a mentor and they say no? Well, listen, one, if this is somebody that you really want to mentor you, I would say don't necessarily give up after one try. But two, sometimes you got to make a mentor. And in this day and age with where technology is, I think it's easier than ever. Gary Vee is somebody that helped me out with this. And I heard him explain this a few different times. He said, I couldn't mentor the thousands of people that asked me, but I share everything that I do publicly. Like, you can watch how I built my company. You can watch how I've moved. I have a talk out there. And for the most part, there are probably people that have accomplished or are doing something somewhere related to what it is that you're trying to do. And you can watch their stuff. You can read what they've written. You can read what has been written about them. If this is your dream, you owe it to yourself to go out and still take as many mentors as you can. There's a lot of people that play ball. You might not have access to a LeBron James or to a Michael Jordan, but there's so much stuff out there about their work ethic. There are so many different things that you can read or watch to kind of understand what it was that they did. That onus has to be on you. So yes, ask that person to mentor you and make sure you offering to pay for the coffee if you can. It's okay if they say no, which is their right. It's their time. You still have to go out and get the information that you need so you can move forward to your goal. 3, what does it mean to be a good mentee? Such an important piece. For a lot of would-be mentors or people that have a lot of information to give you, it's so much easier for them to help people that have taken active steps in helping themselves. You would be surprised at how many times people may approach even me. They want me to lay out every single thing that I've done. And I've said, well, what have you done thus far, right? Like, so if it's about starting a podcast, folks have said, well, how do I do this? And I'll say, okay, well, did you go online and do any research? Did you pull up any YouTube videos where they actually explain every single piece that you need? Whether it's a cheap, almost for nothing, do it on your iPhone podcast getting started, or it's a full studio setup. And when people tell me that they haven't done anything, it's a little harder for me to help them. It's basically saying, you want me to transfer all this information when you haven't shown that you even committed to what your own dream is. So showing up as a good mentee means that you doing what you need to do along the way. And then you're coming to somebody saying, look, this is what I've tried. This is what I've run into. What is some advice you can give me around this, that, or the third? People will be much more willing to help you if you are actually helping yourself. Number 4, another question that I get a lot is, what if there are no mentors around that do what it is that you want to do? Sometimes you have to build a good mentor. Somebody may not be doing exactly what you want to do, but maybe they're good entrepreneurs and self-starters. So you take and you get information around people that are doing self-starter stuff. Maybe you need some support around funding and finances. So then you go and you find folks that are doing that, whether these are people in real life or these are people that you have to go on the internet and do research on. The point is that sometimes you have to piece together very different people in order to build one good mentor. When I'm trying to lose weight, who is this fitness guru over here that I can talk to, that can help me with what I need to eat, how I need to exercise, all that stuff. If there's something about a relationship, then you find somebody who's been married for 40, 50 years and they seem happy to you, and you talk to them. I have so many different mentors that I go to for different things. You have to piece together exactly what you need. Here's another personal piece. It was either my coach or a therapist. I said something to the effect of, I just can't find my footing. And the therapist said, well, you're a trailblazer. There is no footing. You're blazing the path as you go, and then there'll be people behind you that will then have a path because of you. Many of you are trailblazers. You won't always know the direction that you need to go. You won't always have all the information. So you have to start. You have to do that research. You have to find people that have done things similar to what you are trying to do. And then some of the stuff you just gonna fill out. But here's the dope piece about it. The fact that there isn't anybody that has done the things you're trying to do is going to make you that much more of a better mentor for the people that come after you. Get a journal, take notes of these moments because they will be very valuable to somebody else in the future. And 5 isn't a question, but it's just more of a call from me as a young Black man that wished he had more positive Black men around him growing up. To the Black dads out there, to those fathers, to those childless Black men that's just in your community, you matter a lot. Your presence matters a lot. Regardless of what the media says or shows, you still can command respect in ways that very, very few can. I remember I'm a Baptist boy, and I would be walking to school. But the Muslim brothers would be out in the morning to make sure that we wasn't being late, that we wasn't lacking. Hey, get to class. And even though we had a different religion, different family structures, or whatever the case was, when those men talked to me, I listened. When those men were outside, there wasn't fights on the way to school. There wasn't girls being harassed on the way to school. They made a safe passage for me to be able to walk from my house to the school that I went to in a neighborhood where you see a lot of dangers just every single day. What I'm saying is there's a call for us to take back our communities and change these narratives that people are saying about us. You are important, and we have a role to play. Sometimes we mess up. Sometimes we might not feel worthy. Maybe you got a record, maybe you got a degree. As somebody else who is definitely not perfect, somebody else who struggles with his own stuff, somebody else who is also one of those quote unquote broken men from what we've had to go through, it is super important that we have you. It is super important that we get the help that we might need if you did grow up in a certain type of environment. Mentorships in my community, whether it comes from a Black woman or a Black man or your peers or a teacher or a coach or whatever the case is, can be the difference between life and death, can be the difference between one generation truly progressing more than a generation before them. And ain't that what it's all about? Isn't the whole journey in this life thing to make things better and easier for the people coming behind us? To the person that is listening to this and it went straight into you and it moved you and it touched you, brother, we need you. Sister, we need you. Your information is valuable. And the only way we're going to get to where we need to get to is if we do this stuff together. Until next time, y'all be smooth. Peace. The better question is, are you okay with failing? Are you okay with losing? If you can answer those things as yes, then I would say run like hell. Start running right now. Stop waiting for folks.